Jordan, the Orange Bowl. You were there last night in the great state of Florida and the great city of Miami. Notre Dame beats Penn State 27-24 in an outright thriller of a game. I know this is your team. I know you're excited. Your team's going to a national title here. Your thoughts on the game of Notre Dame and Penn State?
Great is generous, by the way, for describing that area. It is impossible to get out of that effing stadium. That is a different conversation for a different day. But to talk about this game, Blake, yeah, I'm absolutely excited. That was one of the best games, actually the best game that I've ever had the chance to see in person. The biggest talking point here that I'm seeing a lot of others echo that I said after the game when I was live on Bleacher Report. Coming into this, I thought that Marcus Freeman was the better coach than James Franklin. And they were getting beat. They were getting punched in the mouth. They went down 10-0. Riley Leonard gets knocked out of the game. Seemingly thought that he was going to be done and that they were going to have to turn to Steven Angeli.
Who didn't do bad, man. Who looked moderately good.
Right. That was somehow the spark. And where Notre Dame won against Georgia is that they won the middle eight. They won those middle 8 minutes where they needed to get points on the board.
Great.
So to get the field goal, they marched down and score a touchdown to start the third quarter. The way that Marcus Freeman was able to build this win, and where I think things have transformed so much since the NIU loss that I keep coming back to, that he has grown and become this great in-game coach, is that they stared down adversity and they bounced back. That was the separation between these two teams. They were facing elimination. There was no world where it felt like they were going to get back into it. And in times, the stadium, Blake, was silent. It was completely silent. It felt like Notre Dame fans had no energy and there was a ton of doubt being in place. But that Notre Dame sideline was not doubting the potential outcome. So, Blake, the biggest part about this and why Marcus Freeman continues to get better every single week as a coach is that he's learned how to rally his team around difficult circumstances. Riley Leonard threw 2 awful picks, and they were still able to bounce back. That is going to be important for them if they try to win it.
If we're being honest, I mean, it almost beat him.
It did. I thought it did. I thought the game was over after the one that he threw to deny Dennis Sutton.
Look, here's the truth. Penn State could not overcome. I don't. It's going to sound like I'm pooing on Notre Dame. I'm not. They could not capitalize. When they were times that they made him a sit-back passing quarterback. They got after him. You did what you needed to do. Now, he made some incredible throws, and quite honestly, Joe, he made more throws on third down than he's done all year. He's made some more throws that I've seen him make all year just in general. But there's a couple of things. Notre Dame did not make him pay for bad decisions. They legitimately did not. And so that's the part, too. I mean, even in the red zone, Joe, they get the interception early in the game. They can't go down and get 7. They got to kick a field goal from the 5-yard line, right? Here's the biggest thing. You know I do this for post games or during games. You ready for this? I've told you all year long, if Notre Dame is going to have success, if they're going to win. What have I been telling you every single time we talk about Notre Dame? What is it?
What specifically? Because
Riley Leonard has to do what?
Oh, convert on third down.
Convert on third down. Joe, are you ready? 11 times you put the ball in his hands on third down. You converted every single one of them. You went 11 of 17 on third down. Wow. Do you want to know the 6 that you did not convert and what you did on them? You did not get the ball to Riley Leonard. So the thing is the question that we had coming into the playoff here, can he throw the ball on third down? The game was won and lost on third down. Joe, over 35% of the snaps for both teams came on third downs. Penn State is 3 of 11. Notre Dame was 11 of 17. Most of those coming in situations where Denbrock got them in favorable situations, and even in big. Joe, the call's late. You're rolling Leonard out left, and he throws a hitch route to gain a first down and basically win you the football game. Their conversions on third downs in the second half won them the football game. Here's the truth, though. Joe, Penn State only being up 10-3 in the first half I literally tweeted this. I couldn't believe it. I felt like Notre Dame in the first half got dominated on the ground.
No, they did completely. They gave up a ton of rushing yards. They got completely dominated. But the second half
stuff, my God, they had no answer for that at all.
They had no answers to any of the outside runs that they were calling. And It makes sense. Andy Kotelnicki is smart for doing that. Notre Dame was down. Two of their most important defensive linemen that they lost during the season were Boubacar Traore and Jordan Patelho. They were weak at edge. Having good quality edge defenders was a problem for them. So that Kotelnicki said, you know what, we're just going to not try to run the ball between the tackles. We're just going to run everything to the outside. And that was all of their big gains. But you were talking about some of the things that won the game for them. The biggest thing in the stat that keeps getting pushed around is the fact that Penn State didn't have any completions to wide receivers in this game. That plays to the true dominance that I've been hyping up for this Notre Dame secondary. Leonard Moore and Christian Gray were insanely good in coverage. It's not like Drew Allar, who didn't play well, couldn't find his guys. Every time you look over and you're focusing on those man-to-man matchups, nobody was open. Yeah, no separation.
Right. Well, hold on. This isn't as if that we've been – it's their biggest weakness. It's Penn State's biggest weakness, right? Like, you remember the last time that this happened? I remember. You want to know what game it was? It was Ohio State. There's this very strong likelihood you're going to play them in 10 days, right? So, Joe, they have – I will get to Penn State in a minute. Your secondary played really good. You couldn't stop Tyler Warren, but they played really good. I mean, nobody can stop Tyler Warren.
No.
But, man, here's the truth. I don't want it to – I'm not trying to make this sound bad at all because it's not. I don't mean this. I just hope it doesn't come out in the wrong way. When you came out in the second half, Joe, and you put that drive together in the third quarter, you started that drive off with a delay of game. So you come out at halftime, you get the ball.
I thought we were cooked. Well, by the way, I thought we were cooked when that happened.
Well, I did too. But here's the thing. Guess what you did? Remember our conversation was about what happens with Jeremiah Love. Does he have to play for you to win the game? Yes, he clearly does. 3 straight runs, 24 yards. That got you going. The Williams double move on the outside, the third-string running back. Beautiful play call by Mike Denbrock. And then Leonard goes in for the TD after another Williams 15-yard run. You started attacking them through the running game with your playmakers. That's how you got into it. But, Joe, I got to mention this. And I again, don't want to take anything away from Notre Dame. I'm not trying to. From the third quarter on, let's look at every single third down that Penn State went on and how good Notre Dame's defense was on third down. 3rd and 2, Allar runs for 1 yard. Penn State, 3rd and 7, Allar got sacked. 3rd and inches, Singleton, no gain. Penn State in the fourth quarter, they had a defensive PI on a third down that got them the first down. They didn't even convert that down. 3rd and 2, the Thomas handoff for 19 yards. Oh, wait, that's Notre Dame. Excuse me. The Penn State 3rd and 5, Allar runs for 11. It was the only thing that they converted in the second half on third down. Joe, they had 7 attempts. They went 1 for 7 on third down in the second half. And then and we talked about this in the preview of this. Both teams had been struggling in the red zone. The fact that Penn State got down there multiple times and had to line up for field goals got them beat. Because you were running all over Notre Dame. Joe, they got 6 points and 4 trips in the red zone. What are we talking? Like, you have to be able to convert in playoff situations. Now, Notre Dame stood up. They made big plays, and you can't take away from what that secondary did. Why they got away from running the football in the red zone is mind-blowingly dumb to me.
Well, to be a little bit more specific here, one thing that I was just like blown away by, completely blown away by for Penn State. Notre Dame couldn't stop Tyler Warren. Notre Dame couldn't stop Nick Singleton. Notre Dame couldn't stop Kaytron Allen. And despite this, all of their drives that got completely derailed and they lost the air in them was because Drew Allar couldn't complete a pass. His guys weren't getting open. And then because he didn't have any separation that he was finding, he was just throwing errant, terrible passes. Allar played awful in this game. There's no way to beat around that. He had an awful performance, and I think everybody recognizes it. But why you kept doing that when you were clearly figuring out what Notre Dame couldn't stop, why you kept turning away from it, it goes in line with, you just brought up the Ohio State game. The Ohio State loss that Penn State had, it was the same thing. We were scratching our head. Why wasn't Nick Singleton getting the ball more? Why wasn't Tyler Warren getting the ball more? Except in this game, you were doing that. You were getting them the ball and setting them up to succeed, and then just last second pulling the rug out and saying, Allar, we need you to go do your thing. We need you to go be the big-time hero ball quarterback. And then he shit his pants. It was one of the weirdest games to like watch and just acknowledge. And you're as a fan sitting there, I'm thinking, well, thank God he's throwing the ball again. Every single time he dropped back, it was like, well, thank God he's dropping back because he's probably not going to complete this.
Well, hold on. There is one thing that I got to throw out there that's also being massively missed. I know that he had a bad pass. It was technically a bad pass to Singleton in the flat that should have gone for a touchdown. Joe, I'm sorry. That's got to be caught in a playoff.
Yeah, that one's not on Singleton. Or no, that is on Singleton. Sorry. That is
right. That's on Singleton. Like, that's got to be caught. I'm with you there. They did not, as a team, they did not offensively convert in critical situations. And quite frankly, I'm just going to call it like I see it. Penn State's defense in the secondary, especially at safety, Joe, they're a really good football team. This Wheatley kid is amazing. And they stopped the run moderately well. And Joe, I mean, look, the box score, for what it's worth, does not tell the entire story outside of third down. Okay. But you ran the ball on Notre Dame for 204 yards, 204. The first two plays of the game, Joe, what were they? Singleton in the flat right, Singleton in the flat left. And you didn't call it the entire game until the final drive in the fourth quarter. I thought Andy Kotelnicki in the first half was in his outright bag. But it's a part of the James Franklin scenario at Penn State. Every single time that you got to put a team away. Joe, if Singleton catches that pass in the first half, I think all momentum's Penn State. Notre Dame clearly came back and won. But in a way, I felt like there were so many missed opportunities by Penn State for them to not take over. And it blows my mind how in drives that you had to kick field goals. Joe, let's go through them very quickly. Singleton, rush, 7 yards. Singleton, rush, 12 yards. Katron Allen, rush, 12 yards. Joe, then they would get down in the red zone and they'd start throwing the football. What are we like? This is why that's why I came in here saying I'm not trying to take anything away from Notre Dame, but you're literally pushing the ball and getting the ball down the field, and you're doing everything else that got you to where the dance, what got you to the red zone. Notre Dame in the second half physically dominated Penn State in a lot of areas, and you got to give it to them. But, man, Joe, I got to tell you, I felt like Penn State also fumbled a massive bag here in a way too.
I know that we're wrapping this up right now, but that goes in line with the way that I opened this, though. Is, yes, Penn State fumbled an opportunity, but I think that where Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman need to be recognized is that Penn State was completely content with the result that was happening. And despite Notre Dame being
so stupid.
We're right, but Notre Dame being backed into a corner didn't waver. That's where I'm coming from here. We can talk X's and O's and what helped Notre Dame win the game and the big interception by Christian Gray, all of that stuff. The fact that that team still maintained their confidence despite all of the adversity,
right,
is where this season has become special and this playoff run has become special. And that is if they're able to beat Ohio State or Texas, whoever they play, it's going to be because they go down early and they stare down adversity again and they find a way to climb themselves back.
Well, they need to hope not to play that way. That's not their style of play.
Yeah,
I mean, you ask Riley Leonard to have to throw the ball. It's not going to be pretty. But, I mean, Singleton had 3 touchdowns, Joe.
Yeah.
The times that you got in the red zone and you threw the football, and I got to be real with you. Again, he could have had 5 touchdowns on you. He legitimately could. Why they continue to not take the edge is beyond me. All right. Yeah. So congratulations to Notre Dame. They're going to the national championship, and they'll face either Ohio State and Texas. Of course. I mean, look, man, I'm happy for you. I'm a big
Thank
Joe
you.
DeLeone
Thank
fan, so
Thank you.
I'm happy for you. So